this wonderful, just like full on like image that was just like in the episode for like a solid couple seconds.
Just the Agumon thing you put? No,
yeah.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
So I won't like bring this up.
Well, that weird shot where he's like part transparent or whatever, I didn't see that.
Yeah, because like in the English version I watched, like this was like a weird thing that just happened.
Okay.
I think it's because like they got from like a specific broadcasting network or whatever, right? There was like a different logo of like, like the Japanese opening on like the English dub or whatever. And like this just happened. It's like, oh, that's super effing weird. And I was like freaking out. Just cut to like cut to Ty running Am. And Ty's like running with like limited animation with like one eye that looks bigger than the other. And I was like, oh.
Animation's wild.
Yeah, that was something else, alright. Yeah. Also, I will mention while it's on my mind, like, been playing a lot of like Final Fantasy XIV. I finally got to the part in the Gunbreaker storyline where they explain why the heck they're called Gunbreakers.
Just because they break guns?
Yeah, it's because they're like, oh yeah, the Garleans had like this big army where it's like they'd fight each other with like just armed soldiers using like guns and stuff. And we're tanks because we'd like just rush the front lines and like take out the gunners. And it's like, oh, that's good. Heck yeah, gun blades. Heck
Also, the origin of the word gun came from gunbreaker.
Yeah.
Which is like the dumbest. It's like, okay.
Well, it's because they use a gun blade.
Yeah, the origin of gun is the gun blade. And the Garleans are like, hey, what if we just took the blade off of it? Now it's a gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, it's RPG logic.
Interesting choice, but okay.
Man, like, have you actually heard about, like, the real historical gun blades?
The what now?
Yeah, there's, like, actual, like, attempts throughout history with, like, just fringe experiments and stuff to be like, oh yeah, let's just shove, like, a gun onto our swords so we can just, like, stab and shoot people.
Okay.
There's just a bunch of, like, weapons from like antique, like not anything widely used, mind you, like but just like people just making stuff for like the sake of trying it out. Where there's
the idea that somebody actually tried to make a real life gun blade is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, I get where you're coming from, but at the point where guns exist, just use guns.
Yeah, like you have to keep in mind that it's like like, a lot of these were, like, from way back when it was, like, like, oh, we're talking, like, like, black power muskets and stuff. Sorry, black powder, not black power muskets.
I knew what you meant. I mean, but still, it's like, they didn't think of the more obvious version of put a blade on the gun.
Yeah. Because, like, that's what they end up, like, doing eventually, right? Like, that's what, like, a bayonet is.
Yeah, bayonet. It's like, why? Whatever, man. Just do crazy nonsense, I guess.
But yeah, there are, like, some really fun examples of that just, like, throughout history and, like, like, random, like, artifacts and stuff. Like, they actually look, like, super cool, too, because it's, like, it's, like, not angled, like, and you have, like, like, the, like, trigger contraptions are just, like, out, like, to the side and stuff, because they're, like, you have to just, like, be able to extend your fingers out to use it,
Yeah, it's just really fun. It's all... it's like, y'all are crazy.
Yeah, interesting historical weapons, There's also examples of people, like, like, some of these are like, the gun's like on the back of the blade, and ours it's like, oh, the gun's just along the side. It's like, oh yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, the gun being on the side of the blade makes more sense than trying to attach it where the handle is.
Yeah, I feel like that makes more sense too, honestly. Cause it's like not as much in the way, but it's also like kind of more awkward to aim.
Yeah. Fortunately, the gun blades that we get in Final Fantasy are absolute nonsense, but it's a fantasy setting, so it's okay.
Yeah, just like you effing like pull the trigger and it like causes vibrations through the blade, I think is like the explanation.
No, because they do fire ammunition.
I'm like in 8 specifically, not like 14. Because in 14 it just makes an explosion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in 14 they're literally firing bullets.
Yeah, you're like firing shots to your allies to give them barriers and stuff.
Yeah. So, more specifically, they fired like aether infused cartridges.
Yeah, makes sense. Gotta shoot those dust rounds.
Huh?
Oh, it's a Ruby reference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, Ruby doesn't have real guns. They have, quote-unquote, dust guns that shoot, like, magic powder rounds at people. And because they're, like, magic, you can just infuse them with elements.
Okay.
So there's one cool point where it's like there's a character whose whole thing is, like, they get powered up through electricity. And you just shoot them with the lightning bolt and they get supercharged.
Makes sense.
And they never do it again, as far as I'm aware. They just sort of do it once.
Yeah, that sounds about the quality I'd expect from Ruby.
Yeah, about the consistency, honestly. Man, they're like... I don't know if I, like, mentioned this, but it's like the entire arc where, like, everyone's sort of, like, traveling around the world and stuff, and they're trying to, like, meet back up. It's like... Sorry, what?
I just went,
Alright, yeah. There's just, like, a big thing where it's like, if you trace where everyone actually went, like, in the time it took the main characters to get from one city to another, like, everyone else, like, got to way different continents and came back. Because, like, the main characters group is the only one dumb enough to do it on foot.
Oh my god.
And everyone else is using, like, airships and boats and stuff.
I'm guessing the dumb group is Ruby's group.
Yeah. Well, it's, like, Ruby specifically with, like, effing, like, like, her uncle and, like, some other people.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, effing Blake just gets on a boat and goes to a different island and comes back. And they all, like, get together and they're just stuck in a room waiting for a phone call. And that's the next season. So, yeah, Digimon.
Speaking of going around the world...
Oh boy. Are you ready for a globe-trotting adventure next week?
Yeah, next week. We end on a cliffhanger, but that we're not, do the episodes in order and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Before we kind of get into things too much, there's something I was thinking about that's like related that I kind of want to talk about a little bit at some point.
Okay.
And it's that I was kind of thinking stuff through, and it's like, yeah, like, Ken really changed way too quick, didn't he? Because it makes sense enough for, like, the character, but it's like, ever since, like, that switch happened, it's like, well, it's like, oh, the big skills the Dark Master had, right? And it's like, alright, look at how Ken is, like, using none of those skills.
I mean, I can't... Look, there's a reason. Believe it or not.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, there's that, and there's also a big thing, it's like, oh yeah, like, there's like no drama in this group anymore. Like these characters have like just so little of a dynamic.
Well,
Like,
they've grown or whatever.
yeah. But I feel like they just got rid of that way too quickly, you know? Because it's like, sure, we kind of, like, you know, just went through it, but it's like, okay, well, now what?
I mean, it doesn't do the story any good to have the characters, like, doubting each other constantly.
I mean, you say that, but last season, like, built up the whole rivalry with Matt, like, the entire time, and it kind of worked really well. And, like, I get that, like, Ken's not Matt, but, you know, still, it's like, I don't know, Ken's just kind of boring now, really.
Yeah, he's just one of the kids now.
Yeah, you know, he's just sort of there, and he'll just make an offhand comment about, like, oh yeah, I need to destroy the darkness or whatever because it's me or something, and everyone will just be like, yeah, don't worry about it, and that's just it.
It's cool, dude.
So yeah, like, episode 37. So hey, are you prepared for Shikuyamon to do one big thing and then never be useful again?
You say that, but that probably happens.
He probably does get a moment eventually, but holy crap. Like,
Yeah,
I feel, yeah.
So I want to say that Shakomon has the counter thing where he eats. This is at the beginning of the episode, so whatever.
Yeah.
He just kind of eats Black War Greymon's Gaia Force and shoots it back at him as eye lasers, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like,
maybe
Shikuyamon's... Sorry.
Maybe he'll do it again, I don't know. His other attack is... Okay, so you know how I said Heaven's Gate was lame?
Yeah.
Shakomon's other attack, where he just shoots some with stone discs at the enemy, is super lame.
Yeah, like the epic stone crotch frisbees.
Yeah. He does it once in the Black War Greymon fight, and guess what? Black War Greymon, like, swats them away. He does it again in an episode coming up, and it doesn't look like it does anything.
You know what, I do want to point something out, that it's like, he shoots the eye lasers, and you see Black War Greymon, like, recoil back from them.
Yeah, well, it's because what could actually possibly hurt Black War Greymon.
And he shoots the discs out, and Black War Greymon, like, blocks them with his shields, and they're denting and cracking the shield. And then, like, Pyhildramon shoots at him with his guns, and it breaks the shield apart. I think he, like, weakened the shield to the point where it's just barely together.
I don't know. I kind of did notice that. It's like, wait, is Black War Greymon missing part of his design? What happened?
Yeah, Shikuyamon messed him up, and, like, everyone else just chipped in and pushed him over the edge.
Yeah, which is cool. It's nice to see Shakomon do something, because...
Yeah, it's right, Shakomon. I keep wanting to say Shikuyamon, which is not right at all.
Yeah, no, it's Shakomon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of Black War Greymon.
Yeah, Black War Greymon's like, no, move out of my way. Like, I don't want to fight all you powerful people. I'll fight the real powerful guy over there. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's silly. Despite the fact, the issue was like, I want to fight someone who can stand up to me, and despite the fact that the Digimon are putting up a fight and stopping him, he's like, I don't want to fight you, I want to fight the really strong guy.
Yeah, they're fighting him well enough that, like, Black War Greymon, like, I remember seeing this episode as a kid. I remember distinctly thinking that Black War Greymon was, like, bleeding oil. It was, like, just spraying out of him.
So I wasn't actually sure if that was in the dub or not. Because it's like, it kind of implies blood, so maybe they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, it's black, so it's fine.
Yeah, I guess. I guess Black War Greymon bleeds oil.
Yeah. It's either oil or, like, evil Dark Tower juice.
Yeah, which is weird, because we haven't seen it on any other... Black Tower Digimon, but that doesn't really matter. It is kind of like weirdly graphic.
Oh yeah, it's super graphic, which is what stuck with me.
Yeah, because Blackwood Greymon is just bleeding this black liquid from like the pipes that go through his body.
Yeah, it's like spraying out there like some epic. Like if this was like textured like actual blood, this would be like some like real grindhouse crap.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And the kids are like, "What if we take the Holy Stone and push it somewhere else?"
So like I remember like I watched the dub and they said that and I'm like, oh, this can't be like what's actually happening. And it happens and it's like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like, alright, how do we move this giant floating rock? So there's like sitting there, it's like, okay, maybe we'd get some vines, maybe if we like, like pushed a tree over, we could nudge it in the right direction somehow, Like,
Nope. Guess what? Guess what? The Digivice does what the plot needs it to, as I've always said.
Oh man. It's like, alright, I know how we'll push that rock. We'll hold up our Digivices. And then it doesn't push the rock.
Instead, it wakes up a Zulongmon.
So I'm just going to assume that, like, this is only working because this is the last stone and, like, the rift between worlds and whatever is, like, getting really crazy.
Yeah. But also, the Digivice does what the plot needs it to.
They just put their 7 Digivices together and summoned the Exposition Dragon to grant them exposition.
Yeah. And a Zulongmon wakes up. And he's like, Blackwood Greymon, you're an idiot.
Yeah, Blackboard Ground, like, tries to attack him while he's, like, just injured and just bleeding oil everywhere, and he just stops him without moving, and he's like, nah, don't. You're not having this fight. Settle down, kid.
Yeah, mercifully for Blackwood Greymon, he doesn't just annihilate him instantly.
Oh, man. Like, what if Zulongmon just gave Blackwargron the power of Digivolution for some reason? He's like, okay, now defend me, that's your purpose.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool, actually.
That actually would be pretty sick now that I think about it. I set for the sake of it.
Yeah, it'd be legit kind of cool if a Zulongmon showed up and he's like, you do have a purpose, here it is.
Yeah. But instead he's like, he shoots him down or like just stops him. And Arcaemon just shows up there like, nah, finish the stone off. And Blackwargron's like, no, screw you.
I do like the part where Mummymon is like, oh, you kids aren't gonna do anything, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And then he's about to do it. He's about to successfully kill the kids. And then Digitamamon and Bakumon do Nightmare Syndrome together and hold him off.
Yeah, they ram him back, which is kind of impressive because like Bakumon's a rookie.
Yeah, but like, Digitamamon himself is ultimate.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like you cut over and like Bakumon's doing like the fat kid windmill technique.
Yeah.
They're all just like still wrapped up in the bandages. Yeah, like Zulongmon just shows up and like, he's like, oh, kids. Wait, first, Blackboard Greymon, you do have a purpose, and it's you make what you want of it. Okay, next, kids. Hey, armor...
Well, it's not that so much as he's like, you do have a purpose, but I can't tell you what it is. You have to figure out what it is yourself.
Yeah.
And then Blackboard Greymon's like, oh, okay, and then he leaves.
He's like, I guess my purpose is to be hated then, and he just flies off and just drills through the sky. And
yeah, super butthurt.
Zulongmon's like, alright, thankfully that guy's no longer sealing my power. And they're just like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, the Black Towers do that. They were like put there to seal me.
Yep. So we have a reason for the Black Towers beyond bad Digimon being bad.
So it's like, I want to kind of like go through this timeline of events real quick. So he's like, oh yeah, like the Dark Masters arrived and they sealed me somehow, along with all the other Devas, even though we're all like way more powerful than them.
Screw it, they found a way.
And he's like,
it happened off camera, so whatever.
yeah, they sealed me off camera, but then by like the chosen children released their crests and like gave up their power to like free us. And then we were free and then we weren't because the Dark Towers. It's like, wait, what? How? Huh?
The idea is that they were around and they could, like, they were there, not physically, but in a state where they could grant Digivolution.
But this is like after the crests and before the towers.
I don't know.
Cause like then Ken just shows up. He's like, I'm just gonna make a bunch of dark towers. And I guess Azulongmon was just like sleeping in a cave somewhere, just like, whatever, it'll probably be fine. And he just got like sucked back into the ground, just like, oh crap. It's like, alright, well, we have to defeat Kid to like save Azulongmon. Like, Kim basically says, like, oh yeah, is there no end to, like, the suffering caused by the powers of darkness or war? He's like, we have to destroy all these evil things for the world to finally be good again. And, like, somewhere around this point, like, TK just randomly has, like, the conclusion of his arc, like, out of nowhere. And he's like, oh yeah, it takes both light and darkness to, like, make the world work, and, we need a balance between the two at some point or something. He's like, as long as there's light, there's always gonna be darkness.
Also, we learn that the crests of light and hope are more important than the others.
Yeah. Oh yeah, side note, TK's whole thing about light and darkness is just cut from the dub.
Of course it is.
That's really stupid. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, light, like, it's life, and, like, hope helps people see the light through, and, you see, that's why you two are, like, the new O2 Digidestined.
That's why you two are more important than the others.
Yes! And he's like, and, we gave you Armor Evolution, which is, like, this ancient form of evolution based on the crests, I assume. And they, like, are inscribed with, like, the images and, like, crests of the chosen children because, don't worry about it.
Well, he says it's a lost form of evolution, and, like, ancient lost form of evolution entirely.
Yeah. Like, he's very specific about saying it's an ancient type of Digivolution.
And only certain Digimon can do it.
So, like, why did they have the crests again? Like, on the eggs?
Maybe the crest thing goes all the way back to that time.
I know, because, like, I thought the crests, like... Well, no, we were told that the crests were, like, created from, like, like, the 8 Digidestined, like, tie in the others, right? To, like, strengthen their strongest attributes.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, like, Tai is the crest of courage because he's, like, especially brave and all that stuff, and it was, like, created from him. But this is, like, implying that, like, the crest of courage was, like, a thing before Tai.
I don't know, I barely remember the exposition from the original series.
Yeah.
All I remember is that they prepared the Digi-Eggs, less so that they prepared the crests.
Like, the only way that, like, I feel like this makes sense in my head is if, like, like, by ancient, he means, oh yeah, when Jedi was around, like, making the crests. And it's just, like, a very misleading term. Because I guess that would be quite well for them, but I don't know if it'd be, like, really ancient. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it smells like a retcon, but, like, I can't confirm it 100%. But it feels like a big, big retcon.
Like they needed an explanation for everything in 02.
Yeah, like, they just, like, Man, like, the worst part is, like, cause I was thinking it's like, oh yeah, did, like, are the eggs part of, like, whatever sealer war that was created with, like, the kid's crest, and that's why, like, Flamedramon has, like, the crest of Kurjam or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, like, oh yeah, May, like, these are all the crests we've seen before because, like, this is tied to that. And it's like, nope, it's completely unrelated, apparently. He just shoved them there, and that was the end of that. He just, like, found a Veemon, just shoved him in the ground, and he's like, and now you will be good.
Veemon, I need you to do something for me. By the way, you're going to forget I asked you to do this, so you won't be able to tell the kids what I needed you to do.
Veemon's just sitting there like, what's a kid? He's like, oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just shoved, like, essentially a Zulongmon is like the guy who made everything happen. Except not really. He made a lot of things happen.
Also, he's the defender of the east part of the digital world.
Yeah, he's like one of the 4 Devas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, alright.
He's like, oh yeah, that's just like Kyoto in the real world. And he's like, yes, our world and yours shares a lot, whatever.
You know what really is just really, really stupid? The dub is working jokes into this exposition.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it?
And, like, every time he's saying something, I'm like, I'm, like, focusing really hard trying to, like, pick out, it's like, alright, what does this mean, what does that mean? And he's like, and that's why we don't have any more forklifts in the construction area. It's like, and that's, wait, fuck you. Oh, that's terrible. It's such a bad, like, effing speech to shove it in, like, holy crap.
It's like, what? I'm sorry, what's agency?
Jeez.
This part of the this episode should be a serious one. We gotta work in more stupid jokes.
Go work in more dumb, like, jokes. Like, we just had the Chinese soup episode. We don't need more comic relief.
Yeah.
Tapermon is right, like, Tapermon / Bakumon is right over there doing the fat kid windmill on Mummymon. We're good.
Yeah, yelling the name of Ramen as he attacks.
Which is, like, another thing they cut out of the dub because, of course.
Does he actually talk, or do they just change his gimmick?
They just, like, he has sort of talks, but he just, says, like, very, like, small lines and stuff, Like, at first he kind of thing where he just said noodles all the time, but they just kind of changed it.
They just made it so he doesn't say specifically the ramen, the noodle stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I missing anything from this big exposition dump?
Not that I can remember.
It's like,
I'm probably forgetting something, but...
Oh yeah, he also mentions, like, oh yeah, Arcanemon Mummymon, like, working for another bigger big evil.
Yeah, he basically says, no, those two are too stupid to come up with this themselves. They work for someone else.
So it's like, this is literally, like, becoming Naruto right now. This is like, oh yeah, we defeated Pain, but there's the real big evil behind the Akatsuki, and oh man, they're so mysterious, guys. Look how mysterious this new character's. Oh, there's a new bigger guy behind. Oh my gosh, you never saw that coming. And it's like, oh man.
Speaking of which, who's this big, creepy, tall dude?
This random, big, creepy, tall dude who kind of looks like an 80s anime villain. He looks like a guy from friggin' Gundam.
Dracula-looking mother effer.
Like, throw him in a spacesuit and, like, put him in Robotech. He'd fit in perfectly.
Yeah. And he shows up and he says a bunch of cryptic nonsense, and then he to somebody. I don't even know. I didn't even catch who it was he was talking to.
Yeah, it's like Matt's mom.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the next episode. I don't think there's anything else in this episode there, is there?
Not really. Blackboard Greymon gets his quote-unquote purpose, and then he leaves, and then they get expo.
Yeah, they get meat buns.
Yeah.
And Yoli gets like weirdly defensive about it.
Overly defensive about what?
Yeah, she gets like overly competitive about the meat buns with Davis.
Oh yeah.
To a weird degree.
Yeah, he goes to grab one off the pile, and she attacks him, and it's like, I wanted that one. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, like they're literally arguing over it the entire time.
Yeah, Yoli, can you not?
So like, I have no idea if like they're actually going anywhere with this at all. But I'm getting the feeling they might be trying to ship Davis and Yoli.
Kinda.
Kinda? I don't see it.
I mean, it seems like it.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I've seen people do weirder, you know? Like, it's super believable.
Yeah.
So yeah, episode 38, and this is the big Christmas episode, except not really.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy, but yeah, this is a straight up Christmas episode, complete with like a person singing a Christmas song in the background, and I like to call this episode "How Arachnimon Stole Christmas."
So yeah, what's really like weird about this?
The
dub took out the insert song.
Of course.
So the dub version feels way less Christmassy.
Yeah, what would they do? Just replace it with another Christmas song? That'd be too easy.
Yeah, that'd be way too easy. Instead, we have to shove him like a weird message about like, please make sure to shop, shop, shop.
It's like seriously?
Yeah, it's like a weird commentary. It's like, oh, I did expect that. I'm not sure if it was like intentional.
It's like, are you making a joke about how
about
everybody
consumerism?
Goes yeah, like what the heck? It's just supposed to be a Christmas episode.
It's like the last place I kind of expected to. It's like, all right, sure, why not? You could have just had like a weird Christmas song in there, like, you know, just a Christmas insert song around how everyone's getting along, or that, I guess. Yeah, or just use an existing Christmas song. I'm sure some of them are like make a new one.
Yeah, I mean they could, but like they use an existing one. I'm sure some of them are royalty free.
Just gotta like repurpose the intro theme to be about Christmas. It's like it's the instrumentals, and there's like trying to squeeze the lyrics in. It's like Christmas is Christmas. It's the time for giving, you know.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't remember specifically what happens except for Arachnimon erects some dark towers.
That's basically it.
Yeah, and
that's the entire
one.
Well, first off, like, very important plot point that goes absolutely nowhere. They're like, oh, we like, hey, like, Agumon, you all are like you original Digimon, come here. We gotta shove you in sacks and show you to your tamers. Well,
they're Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Surprise, it's your best buddy.
So they just shove Palamon in a sack and just send her to America, and you just see her like in the sack just sitting there. It's like, oh, I can't wait for Mimi to wake up. And it's like, oh, that's weird. That's kind of odd, but I get the idea.
I mean, they can't just go to America.
Yeah. Well, they just sort of like sit there in the portal, but it's like, yo, yeah, your dog go like wake her. Well, I don't know. I guess it was like late over there.
It's because Christmas morning.
Yeah. I just assumed it was because of, like, the time zone difference, because everyone else just comes out, like, immediately.
Well, that too.
Yeah, that's where we get this, like, this wonderful shot right here. Just from the image.
Yeah.
Oh, but I have no idea what the heck happened. I don't know how you would even get this, like, still to just be, like, stuck like that. Like, it seems like a weird fade between frames or so. I don't know, it's so weird to look at.
You probably caught like a weird movement frame or like a. I'm not sure what the animation term is, but it's just like an in between shot.
Yeah, because, like, in the dub version I watched, it just stuck on this for, like, a good few seconds as, like, the voice line played over it. And it's yeah.
It could be that they had to extend the scene for the dialogue, and because of it, it came out weird.
Oh, maybe? No, that'd be very odd. That'd be super weird. But yeah, so, like, essentially it's like, oh yeah, got all the Digimon in the real world, and, like, oh yeah, Matt's having a concert, and, you know, there's a bit where, like, Sora's trying to give Tai a present or something, and they sort of look cute together.
Trying to give Matt the present.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kinda missed that.
Yeah, a lot of people got upset because they thought for sure that Tai and Sora was, like, the thing. And it's like, nah, it's Sora and Matt.
Oh, wait, oh my gosh, I completely missed that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, yeah. Because like I said, she was trying to give the gift to Matt, not Tai.
Yeah.
And even Tai is like, get in there and give it to him.
That completely wore my head. Oh, jeez.
And then June storms into the building and, like, gives Matt a gift also, I guess.
So it's like we're heading down the route of, like, oh, Sora's competing with, like, June over Matt.
I guess.
Oh my gosh.
It's a kid show. It's not, like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, if that's where this is going, that's so goofy. Oh, man. Well, I guess they are teenagers, but still, you know. But yeah, Matt has this whole, like, rock concert, and, like, you know, oh, there's a dark tower forming. And
no, Matt's concert is ruined.
Before that, we had, like, a weird scene that I want to, like, bring up real quick, where it's like, oh yeah, it's the new big bad. It's Mr. Owukawa or something, or...
I already forgot his name.
Mr. Owukawa, I think is something like that. Yeah.
It's Mr. Creepy Guy with the vampire face.
I remember this guy's design because I remember seeing an episode or two where it's like just walking around looking evil, just vaguely like in the back of my mind. I don't remember right. Like his coat being purple.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems a bit on the nose.
I mean, why is it being purple on the nose?
Because purple's like the color of corruption and evil. Yeah, purple is the color of darkness.
I mean, it depends on the culture.
I mean, I don't know, it's like weirdly consistent actually when you look at it. There's like actually a really good video I saw about this that's like talking about like, oh yeah, why is purple associated with like weirdness and corruption like video games? Because it's like every like toxic slime puddle is like purple basically.
Poison is purple, usually.
I don't know. I don't know if there are like any real life poisons that are like purple.
No, I mean in
yeah, okay, yeah.
Poison is either green or purple.
Yeah, because, like, green was, like, you know, radioactive color, and purple's just, like, the color of evil.
Like I said, it depends on the culture. Purple's also a royal color.
Yeah, like, that's one of the things they're getting into, because it's like, oh yeah, like, did we, like, get this from people hating the royal families or something? Because, like, that used to be a thing, and you look at it's like, oh yeah, like, we don't really depict royals wearing purple anymore, because it's, like, the evil color. And it's, like, a really interesting topic, I think, where you really, like, dig into it. I wish I remember what the, like, I think the video is just called The Color of Corruption or something like that. But yeah, like, look up if you have the time. It's actually a really cool watch. Anyways, but yeah, he's just sitting at a cafe, and he's just like, I think he calls, like, Matt's mom over or something, or she, like, approaches him. I forget why they're, like, talking.
She's walking past, and he just stands up, and it's kind of hard to miss someone that big.
Yeah.
This dude is a gigantic human being.
So, like, I feel like something weird happened here with the dub. Because, like, obviously the dub changes the music. And the music the dub uses is not nearly as sinister. So I feel like in the dub, they tried to overcompensate by making his threats way more direct. Because in the original... Yeah.
Oh, I'm listening.
Yeah, because in the original it's just like, oh yeah, I want to, like, thank you for helping me, like, investigate the, like, Odaiba Fog incident. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Odaiba Fog incident.
Which I guess was the incident 3 years ago.
Yeah, and, he's, like, talking, and she's like, oh, I didn't really help at all, but alright, yeah, I remember that incident all those years ago. He's like, in the sub, he just leaves it, he's like, alright, I have reason to believe that such a case might still be open, and he walks off, and that's your big, like, creepy moment. In the sub, he directly says, like, oh yeah, like, the monster problem isn't over yet. He's like, I'd be worried about your children if I were you. And she just stops in the dub, and she directly says, like, oh, one of those kids gone up to this time.
Okay, so that makes sense. Because in the sub, she directly says, oh, it must be something to do with the Digimon again.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's kind of sillier, but the message is still there, where it's like, oh, she knows more than other people typically do.
Point is that it's like the dub makes it way more of, like, a direct implied threat.
Yeah.
Whereas in the sub, he's just like a weird, creepy detective man.
Yeah, our tall, dark, and gruesome is an interesting character.
Yeah. I don't remember much about this guy. I do remember one thing, and it's that, like, I have vague memories of, I think, like, the final episode or something. I don't know if, like, this would be, like, spoilers or what, because I just want to get out of the way, like, what, like, I can't remember from before.
I don't remember anything about the end of the series, so go for it.
I remember him, like, vaguely being, like, super sad, like, depressed or whatever. I remember him getting, like, a bit of, like, a weird redemption moment where I think he hugs, like, a baby Digimon or something. And those memories might not even be accurate, but I vaguely recall it.
It sounds like something 02 would do.
'Cause, like, I'm gonna make a call based on, like, what little I remember. I'm gonna say this guy is not the big bad, and he's being controlled by the real big bad, which is going to make this hilarious.
It's like, the big bad that you thought was the big bad isn't the big bad.
Yeah. I feel like part of that's coming from, it's like, oh, I know who the final boss is, and part of that's coming from the fact that this man is clearly not a Digimon.
Yeah.
So of course he can't be the final boss. Like, of course there's something else going on here.
Of course, the way he looks, you could be excused for thinking he was.
Oh yeah, for sure, like...
This dude has, like... He's not as slender, but this guy's got Mummymon proportions.
Like...
In fact, before it revealed who it was, I thought it was Mummymon sitting there at the cafe eating.
Oh, that'd be goofy. Oh, that'd be great, actually. My mom just approaches Matt's mom and just gives off a bunch of cryptic nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, we know that they can just hang out in the real world.
Yeah. Like, presumably Mummymon's not suspicious looking at all.
Despite the fact that he's super lanky and weird and has gray skin, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, this guy also has gray skin, but not the same type of gray.
Yeah, you know what, you're right.
Just gray skin, like, what, yellow eyes and, like, effing shark teeth and, like, a big monster mouth.
Yeah, gray is the real color of evil.
Black is the color of evil. It's like, oh, jeez.
Now could not be a less appropriate time for that joke.
It's such a bad time for it. I should probably like apologize real quick. Just be like, yeah.
I know there was no ill will behind it, and it's just a stupid joke.
Yeah.
But during the current situation,
yeah,
that could not have been any less appropriate.
Gee, like, should we even like talk about that? Like,
no, it's not what the podcast is for.
Yeah, that's true. Jeez.
It's not that I don't want to talk about it. It's just our dumb Digimon podcast probably isn't the place for it.
Yeah, that's super true. Just like it's just really frustrating, you know.
Yeah, and if you're watching this in the future, it's June the 3rd.
If you're watching this in the future, insert X bad event here, and it will probably apply.
Yeah, but specifically, it's June 3rd, 2020. There's no way that the events going on won't be documented. So what we're talking about there.
Yeah, there's a very real chance that, like, this may result in guillotines being put up.
Yeah. Hey, mob justice. Let's go. So yeah, Digimon.
Yeah, see all those convenient stacks of bricks around that just happen to be there that no one seemingly put up? You know, if you find a politician, you know what to do. So yeah, effing like, just Mr. Mysterious just walks off. And like, effing... Yeah, we cut to Matt's concert because that's going on. It's like, oh yeah, big electric interference going on. And Matt's just like, wait, what's happening? And you're like, in the sub, there's a nice little subtle touch where like, we kind of learned before those concerts are like kind of staged. So it's like you can see Matt's not playing and you hear the guitar sound and it's like glitching out.
Yeah, but at least it seems like he's actually singing.
Yeah. He probably is, but it's like, yeah, they're rigging things hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, lip syncing is the big deal. Like, presumably the instruments on the speaker are them playing in the to begin with.
Yeah, like them at, like, you know, the recording studio or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of Digimon code. There's a black tower outside. Oh, it's like, yeah, we have to stop all these evil Digimon coming through, including Monzimon for some reason.
Which, by the way, we get a scene at the end of the previous episode where Davis is like, I could have swore that I saw a black tower. And Yoli is just like, nah, you're stupid.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Davis. It's fine.
You're just seeing things, you idiot.
Yes, don't worry about it, Knucklehead. A black tower in the real world, that never happened. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is that Yoli is, I don't know, weirdly careless.
She's like overly forward with like how she puts things and like, you know, thinks about situations, I think.
Yeah, but it's like, Yoli, dumber, crazier things have happened.
Man, honestly, like, so far I kind of like Yoli's character. Like, it's like right on that line and it goes over sometimes, but it's like, yeah, she brings like a nice energy to the group at least.
It's just considering all the insanity they go through, it's weird for her to just dismiss something like this outright.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Digimon, like, they just appear and they just start attacking at random. Including, once again, Monzimon for some reason. Even though
So,
yeah.
Rakimon says that the Digimon are, like, lost and confused, and that's why they're attacking.
That doesn't, like, Monzimon's whole thing is about justice for toys and helping kids. Why is he attacking buildings?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's literally just there to be an ultimate that's recognizable, I feel like. It's so weird.
It's likely. It's very likely that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we have to take down the Dark Tower, and they do it. And it's like, okay, we have to take down these Digimon, and they do it.
Sanctuary Bind is, like, the most OP skill.
Yeah. Also, the dub cut out the scene of, like, the Numamon attacking, because of course they did.
They throw the poop.
Yeah, and the dub's just like, yeah, we don't want to explain this one. We're just get rid of that. It's fine.
They gotta throw the poop. That's their attack.
Yeah, they destroy the Dark Tower. It's like, oh yeah, the day is saved. Oh crap, there's Dark Towers all over the world.
Yeah, Davis wakes up to his sister screaming in the other room. This is past that episode. This is the next episode. And she's watching a newscast about how there's more Dark Towers and Digimon that are popping up all over the world.
Yeah, this is 39, by the way. Yeah, it's like Dark Towers just spraying across the globe, and they're just appearing overnight, and who can stop these crazy giant monsters? So like Davis's group get together, and they're just like, okay, we need to do something.
Oh, at the end of the Christmas episode, we do see a bunch of the kids hanging out with their parents and their Digimon right next to them.
Oh, yeah.
So it seems like the parents didn't forget about the Digimon just at random.
Yeah, that's a nice detail.
Yeah.
Alright, also what I should mention is like a weird scene towards the start of that episode, where it's like Ken's inviting them all to his like house for Christmas. And he's like super awkward about it. It's like
there's a scene where, are you talking about the part with Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound of that going down the sub. Like his hands of the lower, it's kind of tense.
He's like, Cody. He's talking to Cody, and he's like, "Hey, will you accept my invitation?" And he's like really nervous about him saying no, seemingly.
Yeah.
And Cody's like, "Yeah, man."
In the dub, they like add a line while they're like walking, like their thoughts. And the dub's just like, it just zooms on Kid's face. And he's like, oh man, I'm sure Cody hates me. It just cuts to Cody and he's like, I still kind of hate him, but I'll be nice. It's like back to back. It's like, what the heck even?
Yeah, that's silly, because we didn't, I don't know. We didn't need, like, this weird forced explanation of what is going through their heads.
Yeah.
We know that, that Cody has always been uncomfortable around Ken ever since he changed.
Yeah, because Ken tried to, like, murder everyone multiple times. Sometimes very directly.
Yeah.
Sometimes he ordered for them to be executed.
Yeah. But despite the fact that Ken has clearly changed and Cody has warmed up to him, I guess they're still Ken was still afraid that there were doubts, like Cody, that like Cody didn't fully trust it.
Alright, it's episode 39. So Dark Towers appear like all over the world. There's like, oh, we have to clean up Japan. And like, Izzy's like, oh, hang on, I had to do something real quick. Wait, yeah, first Koi's like shows them the locations, right? And then they head out.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's something like that. But it's like Davis and Ken just go out to the sea and they're like fighting Digimon on the streets. And it's like, oh, there's a wild Triceramon running wild, and oh, we can't fight that with our champions. Gotta go ultimate.
Yeah. Well, okay, so one of the locations that they list where Digimon are attacking is the area where Ken lives.
Yeah.
And Davis is like, well, I gotta go help Ken because you know, he's one of our friends. And Ty is like, but everywhere else is getting attacked too. And he's like, and Davis is like, but he's one of our allies.
Yeah, we have to like help him out.
Yeah. Also, it makes a ton of sense. It's like they're the two they share the fusion.
Yeah, the fusion bond.
Partners. Yeah, so it makes sense that he would go see how Ken is and help him out and whatnot.
Is it like, how do I put this? Like, I just realized that it's like none of the fusion partners are like male-female pairs. I'm not sure if they're trying to avoid shipping or if they're trying to double down on shipping.
I don't know. I doubt there was any deeper meaning behind
it probably just ended up like that for the sake of it. But yeah, I just realized that. Yeah,
although you would think that TK and Kari would definitely be fusion partners.
Yeah, that actually feels like, yeah, because, Kari would, bring him out of his shell and stuff, right? But I guess there won't be as much drama there, would there?
Well, it's also, just like the whole, they both have holy Digimon, and they're, they're apparently, the most important of their crests are super important.
Yeah.
So you would think that it would be they would get the fusion partner. They would make a really powerful, angel Digimon or something.
Man, Yoli and TK is, an friggin', character development arc or whatever would be, so weird. Because she'd be yeah, just tell me how you feel, and she'd be coax him out to be I hate darkness, okay? And darkness she'd back off and be oh, I understand him now. Man, there's probably some interesting combinations you could come up with. I'm sure there's fanfics of that somewhere out there.
Yeah, well, if it was, so assuming Kari and TK were fusion partners, and then we get I think we would get Yoli and Cody.
Yeah. Man, yo, I did find a Digimon 2 fanfic. It's called Donkey Madness.
Oh no.
And I did read past the first page, nothing really happened. But I'm just saying, it's yeah, I had to get around to that one day. There's probably something fun in there.
Probably not. You don't have to get around to reading it.
All I know is that it exists, and it's called Donkey Madness.
It's probably terrible.
I don't know, it might be alright. Might be interesting.
I think the chances of that are really low.
When they're using the dub name.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Also, it's fan fiction. Fan fiction's just kind of trash in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I once did, write, a Ruby fan fiction, and I tried to write, a legit story. And I kind of, stopped because, the power system in Ruby is terrible, and I had, how, like, everyone just doesn't take damage until they do by the plot standards. Because, like, that's a hard mechanic.
The bad guy's gotta cash out damage, or vice versa.
Yeah, you gotta break their aura shield, and then they're finally in danger. It was just really annoying to have that, like, happen, like, every fight. So it's like, yeah, I'm done with this. And I might go back to it one day. But yeah, so, like, Pyhildramon fights Triceramon.
And you can't scratch him, because Triceramon is so strong.
I actually like the Dino, because, like, Triceramon's really, like, stout, and he's, like, on all fours, so of course, like, Pyhildramon's not, like, like, gonna be able to, like, get through that, right?
Well, the explanation is that Triceramon has, like, a stupidly hard shell.
Yeah, and he's also, like ramming at him.
Yeah, his body is super crazy strong.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. He's not crazy strong, but he's very durable.
Yeah. And, like, Mummymon just shows up, just shoots Pyhildra in the back, and he's like, oh yeah, like, I'm just gonna take him out.
Yeah, Mummymon just goes down to tag team with Triceramon. He's like, yeah, we'll just end this.
Yeah. I have to appreciate, like, Mummymon Arcamon's, like, devotion to just being the biggest, just heel pieces of scum ever, just, like, constantly trying to, like, just overwhelm people with numbers and stuff.
Yeah, well, Mummymon. Arachnimon fought the kids, like, once or twice.
Yeah, Arachnemon's fought them a few times, but she don't like to get her hands dirty as much.
Yeah, Mummimon's way more into that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I've got a gun. I just jump down and shoot some people. Yeah, I'm just gonna, like, hit him with my mummy gun.
Gonna shoot these kids.
Jeez.
My lightning gun. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, so it's like, Pyhildron's going down, and it's like, big rubble starts falling from the nearby building. And
meanwhile, this is important, because meanwhile, the kids are talking to Jinai, who has come through Izzy's computer.
Yeah, can we talk about, like, how the heck he, like... Because I don't understand what Izzy does here.
I think he just made the gate big enough for him to step through, but that's not entirely...
But it was, like, already, like, a thing that just... It's so weird, because he forms a gate in, like, his computer, and he turns it and forms a gate with, like, his laptop, and turns them to face each other. And you see the gates, like, clash, and, like, Genai comes out.
He made the gate big. I don't know.
Is it, like, what, huh?
He made the gate big.
It was a cool idea, but I don't know, like, what he actually did, though.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, guys.
It's seriously one of those it doesn't matter moments.
Like, it's just going to bug me, though, because it's like, wait, what the frick was that? It looked cool, but, like, what even?
He made the gate big so the Jinai didn't have to awkwardly step out of the computer screen.
But, like, kids are showing, like, Triceramons through these things, like, all the time.
Don't worry about it. It was for the reveal.
It was just so Izzy could do a cool thing with his computer that meant nothing.
Yeah. Also, Jinai's a young guy now.
Oh, man. Like, and maybe after the kids broke the seal or whatever, it got rid of whatever that thing, like, Piedmon put him was. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, that's what I assume. The Piedmon's gone, so his spell wore off, and it took a while, but Jinai returned to normal. I don't know.
Yeah, Yoli weirdly comments on how he's a hunk for some reason.
Yeah, she's like, oh man, you told me he was super old, but he's actually really handsome.
For some reason that carried through to the dub.
Of course it did.
Yeah, guy just shows up, he's like, hey, I have, like, this orb, and it's, like, one of his Zulogmon's, like, 12 beads. It's, like, a Digicore.
Yeah, Zulongmon gave me this to power you kids up, so go for it.
Yeah, don't ask me why I didn't just give it to you directly, even though you were like right there 2 episodes ago. I have it now. We have it now, but we didn't have it back then because reasons.
Well, we see him at the beginning of the episode accepting it from a Zulongmon.
But like, why didn't you just give it to the kids while they're just like right there with them doing the exposition dump?
Maybe his power wasn't strong enough. Maybe he hadn't recovered enough that he could afford to give that away.
And like, I'd assume they'd just be like fine with that. Oh yeah, we should also mention he also like planted seeds of light.
Oh yeah, to replace the holy stones.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, these things will grow into new holy stones. Don't worry about it. Alright, so yeah, they have a Digicore and there's like, everyone just immediately Digivolves. And it's like, oh yeah, Gamon, you can Digivolve now too, because you were doing it with like a Zulongmon's light before, even though no one ever explained that. And it's like, okay, I guess we can like... He's just sitting there, it's like, oh hey, where's Ty and the others? We could really use Omnimon right now. Everyone's just awkwardly scratching their heads, just like, yeah, well. And, like, Ty's really far away. Maybe we can't, you know?
Isn't Ty in the room?
I know, is he? I actually forget.
I believe he is. I believe he's in the room with them.
Oh, man. If he is, that's hilarious.
Maybe Matt isn't. Matt is weirdly absent through most of the series.
Yeah.
I guess he's more focused on like his real world life, but
I feel like we have at least one episode for like each of them, but it's like, yeah, Matt and Joe like specifically have like, you know, just sort of been wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they get the orb, and it's like, it lets them evolve again. It like shoots off like a beam, and it like goes to Imperialdramon, and it like imbues him with like the power of a dragon.
Yeah, and we get a transformation sequence, a new transformation sequence. It's kind of short, really.
Yeah, like, it just sort of uses the opening so it doesn't feel as special, but it's like, yeah, I appreciate the effort at least.
Imperialdramon blows up a CG castle.
Yeah. I don't know why he blows up a CG castle, he just kind of does.
It's because he's a dragon.
Yeah, but like, why is he blowing it up, though?
Because that's what dragons do.
I know. Well, I feel like it'd be weird if you saw, like, you know, where Greymon do, like, his big, like, you know, like, pose, and you saw, like, a city blow up behind him.
Well, that's not what War Greymons do.
You see, like, Melgarumon, like, transforms, and in the sequence he, like, shoots off all the missiles, and you see it, like, blow up like a battleship or something. It's like, oh geez, hundreds are dead. Just the king will never be the same. Just like Imperialdramon blows up the castle, just hard cut to like the knight crawling out of the ruins. Just like, I'll have my revenge, dragons.
It was an evil castle, don't worry about it.
It was Ishgard.
Oh god. Dang it, Nidhogg.
Man.
We're gonna go off topic here. Where are you in 14? I know you can Thornton.
So I just got to the point where it's like they like have the big ceremony where they're just like, oh yeah, we have a big rock that's like, oh yeah, peace for all dragons and stuff. Oh, we're ending the war. And like effing like spoiler shows down and ruins everything. And they're
okay.
like, aw, dang it, I guess the war's back on then.
I can't believe he would show up to ruin this moment.
Man. Like, yeah, it's like a crazy reveal too, because he's like, you know, he's got like the effing like the things on him, and he like does the thing. It's like, yeah.
It's like, oh, he can do that? Okay.
Yeah, alright.
it's kind of like, okay, fine.
I'll be kind of vague about this just in case, anyone cares.
Yeah, hey, play 14, it's good.
Yeah, pretty much. A Realm Reborn sucks, though. Like, it actually does.
So here's the thing. A Realm Reborn sucks, but only in the context of you playing it without having played, like, 1.0, which really sucked.
But that the context of, like, the expansion after it, and it's like, wow, Realm Reborn really sucks, though.
I know. With, like, not having played 1.0, like, I didn't, and neither did you. But, like,
yeah.
If you had, you'd be, at the time, you'd be like, oh my god, A Realm Reborn is amazing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because 1.0 was a burning trash fire.
I'm trying to think of, like, a good example of, like, something was, like, just went really bad and it came back. It wasn't, like, its heights, but it was just like, oh, yeah, this is, like, up there, Like, I don't know, what's like a mediocre but not bad Fallout game?
4.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, 4.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take your word on it. It's like, oh yeah, we went from 76 to 4 to New Vegas.
We went to 4 to 76.
Yeah, but if we went like that order instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we went from terrible to okay to fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a pretty good like comparison, right?
Yeah. But like I said, Realm Reborn is miles above what 1.0 was.
Oh man. Just hard cut to Imperialdramon, just like the Dragonsong War must continue. He just flies off, he's like, for the brood.
At least Vidofnir's okay.
But yeah, so he shows up, he stops shig my digital pants waiting for World Tour 1 through 3.
I
have no idea what that means for World Tour 1 through 3. Yeah, sorry, man. If you'd expand on that, but yeah, it's just a random comment we got. They highlight the next episodes. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I get what you mean now. Alright, sorry, that took a moment. Yeah, the Digimon World Tour.
Are they just talking about what happens, or it's gonna happen in the next episode?
Yeah, effing the Digimon World Tour 1 through 3.
Okay, alright.
You know what, screw it, I'm gonna use that, that's good. Effing next podcast, Digimon World Tour 1 through 3. But yeah, so it's effing Imperialdramon just shows up. He's just a big, chonky dragon boy.
He's huge. Imperialdramon's gigantic.
I effing love Imperialdramon.
Yeah, and he has a name that's way easier to say than Pyldramon.
Yeah.
And makes way more sense.
I will say it's Imperialdramon's there's 0 insect features to this thing.
That's fine.
Stingmon has purely become the armor. But still, holy crap, I love Imperialdramon.
Imperialdramon's cool. I just hate trying to say Pyldramon because I'm pretty sure that the way you say it is the Japanese, because that's how you pronounce it in Japanese, but they didn't change the name for English, so it looks like his name should be Pyldramon.
Yeah, I think Pyldramon.
Yeah, and it's just kind of dumb.
I don't know. It's probably because I've just grown up with Pyldramon, so it's just oh yeah, it's Pyldramon, right? Yeah. Fuck it, Mon.
I mean, pretty much.
Oh man. I think there's a joke in there somewhere that I can elaborate on, but I don't know how to make it work. Oh well. But yeah, Imperialdramon just shows up and he's just grabs Triceramon because he's just effing massive. Just picks him up. He's Yeah, I'm just gonna drop him in the computer, no problem.
He grabs him by the head, which is hilarious.
Yeah, he's like, hey, come on, guys. We have to, like, nuke 5 towers at once from space. So he's like, flies up, just like, just fires, like, 3 shots at once. It's like, oh yeah, 3 towers gone, we didn't even see where they were. They just ceased to be.
Yeah.
Done.
Imperialdramon just knew where they were and blew them up.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I've got a lock, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we don't know how he knew, but hey, whatever.
Yeah. Like, I just assume he just has really good eyesight or whatever, because he's like a crazy dragon.
Or he just sensed the towers.
He can just see over the curvature of the earth. He can see through the land.
He can see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
He just flies up, he's like, my god, the world is flat. Yeah, he just blasts 3 towers and he's like, okay, let's get the others. Oh wait, no, first he like goes out, he's like, alright, let's like destroy some of our towers around here and then just like clean up the area. And
they clean up the entirety of Japan.
Yeah, just in like no time at all, because he just zips off at like Mach 10.
Yeah, Imperialdramon's flight speed is ludicrous considering Jinai says that he can clear a world trip in 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I like crunched the math on that. So like a 30-minute world trip, like assuming he's going around the globe, right? That means he's traveling at like 15,000 miles an hour. This means he's traveling at like 20 times the speed of sound.
Good thing the kids are in that force field thing.
Yeah, he's literally like an effing like high speed like effing supersonic jet. Like it's insane. Like I want to like find a comparison. You're like, oh, is he traveling at like bullet speed? And it's like, nah, not quite. But it's like, well, I'm pretty sure not quite. But it's like, it was still pretty up there.
Traveling faster than that.
Yeah, jeez. But yeah, so it's like, he like gets all kids and they just zip off and it's like, alright, yeah, we have to like travel across the globe and we have to drop all the chosen children off and they're gonna meet up with Digidestined around the world to help take out these towers.
It's gonna be rad.
Yeah, they mention there's like 6 spots they have to go, I think. Which just feels like a really weird place to be, because, like, there's... How many episodes even are there left? There's like 39, there's like 11 episodes left. So it's like, this is gonna clear all but like 5 episodes or something. It's like the next like 4 weeks of like Digimon podcasts are like, like I know what like at least 2 of them are gonna be like. Because they're probably gonna be pretty straightforward Digimon of the Week plots. Like, assuming we get, like, like 1 episode for each, like, place or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a weird feeling.
It's I think I've mentioned that O2 feels rushed or something.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Because it's like, I feel like, early on, it's like, alright, early on it started rough, and it just sort of, like, it started again to a bit of, like, a rhythm. And, like, as soon as, like, Kin gets, like, Melgreymon, it just sort of falls apart, and it, like, kind of, like, climbs back up. Kind of goes good for a while. Like, starts getting, like, good for a bit. And, like, Blackboard Grand shows up, and it just sort of starts declining again, and now it's like, oh, we're just going down from there, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just give it a fair shot,
Yeah, like, I'm approaching this with, like, as much of an open mind as possible, I feel like,
Yeah.
Like, heck, like, even while I'm just, like, sitting here talking about this, I'm like, oh yeah, like, I effing love, like, Imperialdramon. It's like, oh yeah, like, Mummymon's great, like, Arcanemon's, like, so much fun, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Let's not like, this is like completely like, oh, there's no good here at all, like, salted earth or whatever, right?
Yeah, we've talked enough that it's like, oh yeah, my gripes with the show come about from like watching the dub and how badly they handled it. But the sub is pretty good, actually.
Like, I feel like, I'd still say like the sub of O2 is like, still like a bad season. But it's like, it's not like, it's more of like a mixed bag than I think you'd expect. And like the dub definitely is like, like a way worse.
Yeah, the sub is just way better than the dub.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the problems can kind of come down to like, oh, they're like not allowed to put the kids in too much danger anymore for some reason. Or at least that seems to be the case. Character issues and like rushed pacing at points. Like those three things are kind of like, the big thing. Like one of those was always kind of a thing, but feels like, way harder here when it's like, oh, the bad guy just has his super weapon, right?
Yeah. And we get to the reboot where the kids are fighting alongside their Digimon, no problem.
Ty's just punching out Argamon and it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he uses one like a flail.
Jeez.
It's rad.
Oh yeah, I want to make a note here that it's like, yeah, on the sub, they're like, oh yeah, we have like around 200 emails.
Yeah.
The dub is like, oh, there's hundreds of thousands of emails, and they're all over the world.
The stakes have to be ramped up.
There's like, oh, there's anyone can be Digimon like everywhere. All these Digimon they're all over the place.
It's absolutely insane.
Look at all these like these millions of like billions of emails where everyone has a Digimon. Man, like 200 is so much more reasonable.
Yeah.
It's so weird go from that. Like you go on the sub, it's like, oh my gosh, 200 that many? That's a lot.
There's 100,000 Digidestiny.
Just across, like, just they're all over, like, all continents, like, hundreds of them everywhere.
It's like, shut up, there ain't no 100,000 Digidestiny, that's ridiculous.
Like, I think the dub says so, it's like, oh yeah, it's literally, like, every kid who, like, saw the sky that night or something. It's like, oh, jeez. Yeah, you really did it now. You really did the thing. So, yeah, like, final thoughts on the episodes, I guess.
Nah, not really.
Yeah, like, 30-son was big exposition, and I kind of hated it, and the answers are very unsatisfying. 38 didn't even exist. I don't even remember. Like, just already, like, my memory of episode 38 is just sort of, like, fading from me as I'm just, like, talking about it.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's the only thing, because it's like, oh, it's Christmas, and it's like, alright.
I mean, at the very least, we get the beginning of the Dark Towers in the real world thing.
Yeah.
At the very least, we get that.
And, like, man, not a lot happened in 39, did it? It's like,
not really.
Not a lot happened at the same time a lot happened, because they cleared out all of Japan.
Yeah, they fight Digimon, they get a power boost, and we get Imperialdramon.
Yeah, that was, like, I guess that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it feels so rushed, but with, like, so few actual events. It's so... Oh my gosh, I almost forgot! I forgot they had, like, a weird explanation. Because they're like, oh, hey, like, Genai was going around hacking into all the world's governments to keep Digimon
yeah. Yeah. So we get a slight explanation for why a lot of the world seems to have forgotten about Digimon, and it's that Genai went through the records and like subtly and slowly over the course of how the 3 years, I guess, went through the government computer systems and just slowly removed Digimon.
Genai Bernstein bears the Digimon information from the world. He Bernstein bared the information from everywhere.
I don't understand. I don't get what you're saying.
Oh, yo, the Mandela effect. Remember that was the thing where it's like everyone's like, oh yeah, like it's the Bernstein bears, not the Bernstein, or yeah, it's like the Bernstein, not Bernstein, or I forget which way it is. And everyone was like, no, but I remember it, the Bernstein. How could it be the Bernstein bears?
Yeah. I don't remember the book specifically, but once I saw how it's spelled, it's like, well, yeah, it's Bernstein. Of course it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a weird thing for a bit where it's just like, oh yeah, this proves that we're living in like an alternate universe where like the name of like children's books are like, you know, slightly different, and where the Monopoly guy doesn't have a monocle.
Yeah.
And people are like finding all these things and they're just like, oh my gosh, we're in the other time. It's like, no, it's like you're just remembering it wrong. Man, it's like, my fair examples is there's just like this random guy on the internet, this random like conspiracy nut who's just like, oh yeah, there's new like islands and land masses to the world map that weren't there before, and like, oh, the shapes of continents are different now. And you look back at like his old videos where it's like, you know, the map as his like desktop like, you know, background, and it's like exactly the same. And it's like, nah, you just didn't realize that this place was here. And he's like, no, but we're a different timeline, though. It's like, the more I look at this map, the more things are on that I don't remember being there. And it's like, yeah, you're an idiot. That's why. It's because you don't, like, look at every single feature of the world's geography that often. Yeah, like, any, like, last final thoughts, I guess?
Nah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good note to go out on. So yeah, I guess see you guys around next time. Later!
Later.